Hello, my name's Claire and I work at the Cole Museum of Zoology, which is part of the University of Reading. I work with our fluid preserved collections, which means animals that are kept stored in jars full of liquid. Now you can print out this activity from our website called The Joy of Jars, and in this video I'm going to do a demonstration of how you can make your own museum specimen in a jar like this one. So if you print out the instructions, there's a big list of all the things that you'll need. The first thing you need is a clean jar with a lid and with no label. So if your jar's got a label on it, you need to wash that off before you start. So you've got a nice clean jar and a lid. The next thing you need is a clear plastic document wallet, or if you've got access to a laminator, you can laminate your image. I haven't got a laminator, so I'm just going to use one of these plastic pouches. You'll also need some sticky tape if you're doing the plastic pouch option, so that you can tape down the edges afterwards. You'll need some colouring pencils or crayons or paints or whatever you want to colour in your animal, a pair of scissors and a pen or a pencil. You'll also need a sheet of paper to draw your animal on, or paper for your printer if you're going to print out the example animals that we've drawn for you, which you can print out as part of the activity from the website. The other thing you'll need when you get right to the end is a jug of water with enough water to fill your jar. So when you start, the first thing you need to do is choose your animal. Now at the Cole Museum, most of our collections that are fluid preserved tend to be marine animals. So this one is a jellyfish, but if we store it in fluid, that means that it supports the body weight of the jellyfish and it doesn't dry out, and in this way we can use it for future study. We also have some mammals, so the animal I'm going to choose to put in my jar today is a mouse. This is one of the ones that you can print out from the sheet that's on our website. The first thing you need to do is check the size of your animal against the size of your jar, which you can see here I didn't do before I started. I printed this one out and I coloured it in, and it's too big, doesn't fit, sticks out the top. So if you find that the printed ones are too big for the size of your jar, you can set the percentage to sort of 70%, 60%, and that'll give you a smaller picture that you can pop into your jar. I've coloured this one in with marker pens, so you can use anything you like, paints, crayons, pencils, whatever works for you. So once you've got your animal coloured in, you need to make it waterproof. This is where the plastic wallet or the laminator sheet comes in. So I'm going to pop my mouse right down into the bottom corner of that document wallet there. So we've got two sides that are already completely sealed. Then what I'm going to do is cut him out, just leaving a little space around the edge. Put the rest of the wallet to one side. So you've got your mouse and he's inside a little plastic pocket there. Then you need sticky tape, and all you're going to do is just tape round the two open sides. So there's one. Fold the tape over to the back. and just snip off the extra bits at the ends that are sticking out. There we go. Now we've just got that open long side to do. Another nice long bit of sticky tape, fold it over to the back, stick it down, and just carefully snip off the little extra bits at the ends. If you're using a laminator, obviously your animal will be sealed inside the plastic sheet and you can just trim it down to size. You won't need to worry about sticky tape, it'll automatically be waterproof. If you're worried about your paints going runny or anything like that, you can make it extra waterproof by doing a little extra bit of sticky tape around the corners. Which I would do, there we go. It's going to say I've lost the end of my tape. There we go, so I've just wrapped a little bit of extra tape around the corner there to make it extra waterproof. So he's all ready, that's as simple as that. All I'm going to do now is pop him in the jar. You can move your animal about, especially if you've got a square jar, you can line it up and make sure it's shown off to its absolute best. So that's your animal in your jar. The next thing you need to do is make a label. Every museum specimen has to have a label so that we know for the future what's in the jar, what fluid it's been stored in and what date it was preserved, so we know how old it is. So again, on the sheet that you can download from the website, we've designed a label for you there and you can print that out. Again, check the size against your jar. If it's a bit big, you can always take the percentage down a little bit to make it smaller. Of course, if you haven't got a printer, all you need to do is just draw out your own little label. You can use the one that's on the template sheet as an example. So I've filled mine in with a pen that I know is waterproof because this one isn't going inside plastic, it's just going in the back of the jar. If you haven't got a waterproof pen, you can test it by just drawing with it and then putting a little bit of water on the top. You can see mine doesn't smudge there. If you're not sure about your pen, the best thing you can use is a pencil. Completely waterproof and it won't disappear in the water. So what I've written on my label there is the number of the museum specimen, which is number 75 for this long-tailed field mouse. I've written the date that I've done this activity, which is today. The preservative used in our case is water. In the museum we use some quite toxic chemicals to make sure that our animals stay preserved for the longest amount of time possible. And I've put my name on it there so that everybody knows in the future that this was my mouse. Once you've done your label, pop that inside the jar. The labels always go inside the jars in museum specimens so that they don't fall off and get lost. Pop it in the back so it's not in the way of your animal. And all we need to do now is just fill the jar with water. There we go. I'm going to fill it not quite all the way to the top because I don't want it to spill, but it needs to cover up all of your animal. There we go. Now, if your label is doing what my label is doing here, which is floating, all you need to do is make sure it's the right way up and you can just stick the wet paper to the inside of the jar like that and it'll stay put. It might gradually fall down to the bottom, but it will stay stuck to the surface of the jar. And then all you need to do is pop your lid on nice and tightly, and you're done. You've made your very own museum fluid preserved specimen in a jar. If you want to find out more about the Cole Museum of Zoology, you can have a look at our website. The link will be below the video, and keep your eye open for any more activities that we do in the future.